know that Miami is struggling in a lot of areas, but it's also a very speedy football team. What are you seeing from them on special teams? And I'm guessing they bring an element of speed to the area.
Yeah, they have a good unit. They have speed at the returner position. Both returners doing a really nice job. Washington and oh my gosh, 82. Jeez, he's a problem. So both of those guys can fly.
Yeah, running into the punter penalty.
Yeah, I mean, on the actual, like, was the penalty the right call? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was. Look, here's the thing. I would have made the same call. I mean, they cut a guy free to the punter. I mean, we've got to do a better job of being able to avoid the contact there. You know, it's either get the ball or get away. So.
If you don't have Gage on Sunday, what are you gonna do for a punt return?
Yeah, I mean, IB did it. IB finished the game this past week, so be ready to go.
What can you say about how well Andre has been doing for you guys and just how that has solidified?
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job. Obviously, we had a few issues in the first week and made some corrections. I think he's had a good approach to it, so he's been very consistent with his preparation. Hardworking kid, so.
There's been talk about those field conditions on Sunday, and I mean, for the Steelers specifically, there were two times when it impacted them on special teams. I guess, what did you think of those conditions? What did you see?
Yeah, the field wasn't in great shape. I'm not going to lie on that one. I mean, it was pretty obvious that it wasn't in good shape. I know historically that field, you know, there's a lot of traction on it. Obviously, University of Pittsburgh plays their home games there. They play a lot of high school games on it later in the year. I know the WPIL has their division championships there. I think they play like four to 6 games within like 2 days on that field later in the year. So, I mean, it is what it is. Look, everyone's playing on the same field. Get the right footwear and be ready to go.
Do you even acknowledge it in the game, or did you, I guess?
No, and I think that when that happens, I mean, I remember like being a young player in New England, and we had grass at the time, and Bill would always just emphasize, you know what the conditions are going to be. You play to it, right? Make sure your feet are underneath you. Make sure you have the proper footwear, things like that. So I think that, you have to understand, like, you can't plant as aggressive at times. You have to know, like, what type of shoes you're wearing. So.
Other teams that are 1-5 are firing coaches, calling out players, and different things like that are going on. What do you see as the mindset of this football team right now at 1-5? What's the vibe?
Yeah, I would say, amongst our group, I do feel that we have a very well-connected football team. When we're talking about the players and the coaches and how we interact with each other and how the offense interacts with the defense, with the special teams players and specialists. And I just think that we get along. We are a connected team, and I do think that we have the ability to right the ship. A couple things happen, a few things happen a little bit different, and we're looking at a different record. Now, you obviously can't change those things, and that's just it's inevitable. Stuff happens in sports and in football, but I do think that, if a team can get it right, it's a team that's connected and are doing things that teams do, and that stick together. And I think that we're all supporting one another, and I think we all understand the situation. And I think I've referenced this before. I've referenced it to our players. I was on a staff on a 1-5 team my first year in Indy, and we turned it around. So I believe that we can do it. We gotta play complementary football. We gotta play clean football. We gotta protect the football.
I know that Andre's been down at the stadium kicking. What can you do to replicate rain? It's supposed to be pretty bad on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can do anything to truly recreate that type of, like, situation. we work wet ball stuff as far with our operation. I know we'll do that here later this week with our offense and defensive players. And then honestly, like I think that you prepare your team through these, I would say weather situations that can happen by practicing outside, practicing in the elements, practicing in the wind, the rain, the snow, all that stuff. Because ultimately you're going to play in it at some point. So I think all the training that you're doing in off-season program, training camp, and have the opportunity to practice in those elements help you in those situations.
Dylan, it looked like he was in that number one kickoff return role for you last week.
Yeah.
How'd you see him handle it?
Yeah, I mean, him and Jerome are both back there. So, I mean, I thought he did a good job. He's a good communicator, smart kid. I think he's improving every week, even with his practice reps. So he's got good vision. We like him back there.
Did you see him getting stronger? Like, it feels like he's not breaking a whole lot of tackles right now. Like, do you see where that might become part of his game, where he's able to, shake off a guy or two?
I'm sure there's areas for strength development. I think the one thing that he does bring is he's just got a knack and instinct for running the football. I think he's got good vision, so try to use that to his advantage.
Colts team that bounced back from a rough start. What were the intangible things that kept that team together that allowed that turnaround, do you think?
I think to my recollection, just thinking about the team in general, we had a relatively young team. I mean, we're playing a considerable amount of younger players too. So I think that it takes time to that continuity within. We're playing a lot of young players offensively also. I think that it takes time at times, and I know no one wants to hear that, but I mean that's the reality. So now. Yeah, can we do a lot of things better, and should we execute better in a lot of areas in all three units? Yeah, but I think that we're on the right track. I really do.